Kentucky Bourbon Pecan Pie. This comes to us on page 89 of Sugar Butter Flour, the official Waitress pie book under the section Chocolate and Nut Pies. What better treat to have during the fall than a good old-fashioned pecan pie? Except for Jenna's recipe, she meant this quite literally. Today, we are making an old-fashioned pecan pie. If you're like me and your favorite things to do during the fall are eat pies and drink cocktails, this is the dessert for you. For the pie shell, we're gonna whisk together 3/4 of a cup of flour, a 1/2 cup of white cornmeal, 1/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1 teaspoon of fresh orange zest. Mix! Okay, already I would bake this just for the smell of the orange. And now we're going to work into the dry ingredients 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that's been chilled and cut into cubes, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening that has gone through the same process. And you're just going to work them in until everything is crumbly. Now I'm using 2 butter knives to work everything together, but you could also use a pastry blender or a food processor if you have one. Pour into the mixture 4 tablespoons of ice water, and then use a fork to toss the ingredients together. Make sure the dry ingredients are not fully incorporated into the water. We still want everything a bit dry. That's where the flakiness of our pie shell comes from. Turn out the mixture onto plastic wrap. Pack it in tight. Form it into a disc that's about 3/4 of an inch thick. Let this chill in the fridge for at least a half hour. After 30 minutes, we're gonna roll it out. Flour your work surface. Gently work it into a 9½ deep dish pie pan. Crimp the edges. Use the leftover dough to create decorative twists that line the shell. Chill this to set for another half hour. It's time for filling. Start off by melting 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter in a saucepan over medium heat. Fire! Once the butter is melted, you are going to whisk into it 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Once the mixture is smooth, you're going to kill the heat and add in a 1/2 cup of corn syrup, 1/4 of a cup of honey, 3 tablespoons of bourbon. For all you alkies out there, that translates to 1½ shots. 1 teaspoon of Angostura bitters, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of fresh orange zest. And whisk till smooth. The bourbon is really coming through strong on this one. In a separate bowl, we are going to lightly beat 3 eggies. Slowly incorporate the eggs into the mixture. Whisk into that a tablespoon of flour. And finally, we stir into the mixture 2 cups of chopped pecans. Mix! Pour into the pie shell. Place the pie on a preheated baking sheet, then bake at 350 for 50 to 60 minutes. Be sure to check it with a toothpick. And while the pie is baking, you're going to set a metal or glass bowl in the freezer to chill. Once your toothpick comes out clean, you're going to rest this whole thing on a wire rack to cool. Whipped cream time! Into your chilled bowl, you're going to pour in 1 cup of chilled heavy cream, then 1/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of bourbon, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Beat on high speed to firm peaks. Yes! And there you have it. Twisted Kentucky Bourbon Pecan Pie. Serve it with a dollop of that whipped cream on the edge. Oh yeah, this right here is where it's at. The filling is gooey, it still holds its shape, it's got a nice crunch. The nuttiness, the sweetness from the orange, and the smokiness of the bourbon, yes please. I can guarantee you this is going to be a hit at holiday dinners if you make this yourself. By far one of the top 2 or 3 best pies I've made on this show. I am going to eat all of it. Click the link in the description to go to the Amazon page for Sugar Butter Flour so that you too can make this pie for yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.